my fellow oddities, welcome to a new video, and today we're going to be once again discussing a Mortal Kombat 1 character. The last time I did this was with Bihan, and I talked about how Mortal Kombat 1 ruined Bihan. And that video did very well. It's become my most viewed non-shorts video, so thank you guys for the support on that one, especially since that's a video about my favorite character in all of Mortal Kombat, so it's kind of perfect. And I feel like this video will also do very well because today I'm talking about a fan favorite character, Reptile. And this time we're going to go in a more positive direction and we're going to be talking about how Mortal Kombat 1 perfected Reptile. But firstly, before we get into Mortal Kombat 1, we have to discuss how Reptile has been treated prior to this game. So let's start from the first Mortal Kombat game up till Mortal Kombat X, his last appearance before his appearance in the new timeline in Mortal Kombat 1. In Mortal Kombat from 1992, the first Mortal Kombat 1, Reptile was famously a secret character that you could fight against. You couldn't play as him, but you could fight against him by playing on the pit stage, having something float in the background in front of the moon, then getting a double flawless victory, and doing a fatality. So yeah, very strict requirements, but you could fight as him. He had the same moveset as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but combined, and he was also like super fast, and he was green, because reptiles are green most of the time. At least that's the color most associated with them. And this gave Reptile an aura of mystery to him, and I believe it's one of the main reasons why he has stuck around as a fan favorite character for so long. He was the first secret character, and that just kind of draws people to that mysterious nature. And then after Mortal Kombat 1, there was of course Mortal Kombat 2, because that's how numbers work. And in Mortal Kombat 2, Reptile was a fully playable character with his own full moveset. He could like fire bubbles of acid, poison, whatever you want to call it. He could like spit, acid, poison, whatever. He could like slide, he could turn invisible. He was a super cool character and everybody loved him. And in this game, he was given the story of Shang Tsung's bodyguard. So this mysterious character that would lurk in the shadows, and if anyone tried to attack Shang Tsung or something like that, he would attack them. He would beat them up. And I believe he was also in the Mortal Kombat 2 tournament as a participant. I'm pretty sure. I think so. I don't think he was just his bodyguard. That would be lame. But as the series went on, that idea, that lame idea, as I just said, of him just being like a bodyguard or a servant for whoever the big bad of the week is, kind of became an actual thing. Starting with Mortal Kombat 3, where he was just kind of another Outworlder in Outworld's big army of characters that need to fight because invasion and stuff like that. In Mortal Kombat 4, pretty much the same thing, but this time with Shinnok, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. He was like taken by Nitara to be like a vessel for Onaga and the egg and stuff like that. I don't know. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance Reptile. He was kind of all over the place. I mean, just look at his design. And then he was not featured in Deception. Then he came back in Armageddon, but Armageddon was an Everyone Is Here game, so that doesn't really have much value. And then that brings us to the new rebooted timeline, where in Mortal Kombat 9, he didn't speak. Like, he had 0 lines of dialogue. Like, he whispered to Shang Tsung, but you couldn't hear what he said. So I don't really know why they even did that. Like, if they were gonna make Reptile mute, then like, okay, I guess you can do that, but then why have him whisper to Shang Tsung later on? Like, if he can talk, then why doesn't he just talk? Like, why does he just like growl at people or hiss or, I don't know, whatever reptiles do. In Mortal Kombat X, it was a bit better, but he was still just a jobber servant for all the good guys to beat up. That was his only role in the story. And, do we even really have to touch on Mortal Kombat 11? He wasn't a playable character, wasn't in the story mode, I don't even know if he was mentioned at all, and the only real capacity he had in the game was in the crypts, and, yeah, we know how that ended up for him. And so at this point, people were just like, okay, this character started off super cool, super mysterious, this bodyguard for Shang Tsung, who, I haven't even mentioned this yet, but is supposed to be like one of the last members of his race, and he's trying to save his race by doing all of these evil things for evil people, and that's the only reason why he does this stuff, and at heart, he might be a good character, a good guy, but he just has to do this for the saving of his race. But they just never really went into that. The potential was just never dived into, and that just turned a lot of people away from the character. And it doesn't help the fact that Mortal Kombat media outside of the games has not treated Reptile very well. In fact, I'm pretty sure in the 3, 4 if you count Annihilation, the 4, let's say, Mortal Kombat movies that Reptile has been in, he has had a total of 0 lines of dialogue. That's pretty bad. And a lot of people, including me, were really looking for Reptile in any future games that he would appear in to kind of return to his roots, make him that character that he used to be, that bodyguard character who was only really doing all this evil stuff to save his race. And Mortal Kombat 1 came around, we found out Reptile was going to be in the game, and it was the first good sign of things to come when we learned about his character design, which is he is now once again a human. Now, I've been very vocal about not really liking human Reptile. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me, like, why people would want that. Like, it makes him more unique to have, like, the reptilian skin and all that stuff, but some people just like the aesthetic of it, I guess. But it was a good sign for his character because not only were they returning to his roots with him being a human in the first few Mortal Kombat games, but the fact that he was human kind of makes it a bit more easier to relate to him on a personal level than if he was just like a reptilian, a creature again. Which means NRS could probably do a lot better of a job making him more of an actual character instead of just like a servant. Every single time I've said servant in this video, I've been so tempted to say serpent because serpents are like reptilian, and I'm talking about reptile and serpent sound similar, and I don't know why I even include this in the video. I don't know, I might cut it out. I don't know, depends on how future me is feeling, I guess. But we saw a bit more in the trailers and stuff, and he was talking, and he was able to transform into his complete reptilian form, which was kind of a good balance, I guess, between the people who love human Reptile and the people who love monster mini Godzilla Reptile. And then things got even better when we learned that he would be on the good guy's side, teaming up with Ashura, teaming up with Johnny Cage, Kenshi, and all that. And so a lot of people, including myself, were very optimistic going into this game, hoping for a better Reptile than we've gotten in previous ones. And yeah, it's safe to say that this Reptile is miles and miles, like in a different league, like a couple leagues over from the Reptile we've gotten in the previous, especially NRS games. This Reptile is great, and let me talk about why. Firstly, having both Reptile's human and fully Zeteran reptilian form both implemented into his gameplay is great. It gives so much more variety in fatalities, brutalities, just basic special moves, basic combos and stuff, and I really like that about his character. Even though it's not really something about his actual personality or character or anything like that, I just think that's a super cool idea that I hope they stick with. But the main part that really perfects Reptile's character in this game is the fact that they finally delved into that tragic aspect of the character that we were all wanting to see. The fact that he was trying to save his race, or in the new timeline it's a bit different, but I'll get onto that later, by doing all of these bad things for bad people. And it made you think, man, if all of this with his race wasn't happening, would he be a good guy? Could he be a good guy, or is he always just destined to be this evil servant character? And it kind of made you think a little bit, and it's something that the series never really delved into that much in the old timeline or the NRS timeline. But in this new timeline, they finally touched into it, but they added a bit of a twist, which I think makes it even better. In this new timeline, it doesn't seem like Reptile's race is really extinct at all. It doesn't seem like he's one of the last ones. He doesn't even seem like it's really endangered. They never talk about it. So we just gotta assume that the race is all fine, well off, happy, like a race of sentient creatures should be. And it takes this idea of having to save your entire race, which is a big deal. A lot of stakes there. Entire race of an entire species of creature, alright? Like, none of us are ever gonna have to deal with that. Like, at least none of us alive today. But they take that idea and they compact it. Now it's just about saving his family. And that's an idea that, although not a lot of people are going to have to go through, it's one that is a bit more relatable on a personal level. You can just be like, okay, would I want my family to be in danger? No? Wow, okay, I can relate to this character and be like, hey, I understand the pain you're going through. It's that simple. Because if someone told me that the entire race of human beings was endangered, then I'd just be like, dang. I don't really know what to do about that. But if someone told me my family was in danger, then I'd be like, okay, let's try and get something going. Let's try and find a way to actually fix this, because it's just a more personal level. It's people you know, people you care about that you want to go and save. And trying to save everybody is just a bit different. It's just something that's like so out of the realm of the human psyche, I guess. That's just like, I don't think I'd ever be able to save the entire race. I just don't think like my brain can even handle that situation. So Reptile's motivation is now wanting to save his family, who has been trapped by Shang Tsung and like presumably tortured or something, so that Reptile will do his bidding and like protect the flesh pits or whatever else Reptile does in this timeline and game. I don't know. But as it turns out, Shang Tsung is actually deceiving Reptile, which is not a surprise. But it turns out that Shang Tsung actually just killed his family straight away and has just been telling him, oh, you have to save your family. Your family's okay. You just have to save them by doing all this stuff that I am asking you to do. But it turns out they're actually just dead. And he's just saying this stuff so that Reptile will stay with him and keep doing his bidding. Yeah, that sucks. And as soon as Reptile fails, Shang Tsung appears, and just like the smartest idiot that he is, he tells Reptile that, hey, I just killed your family anyway. Ha ha ha, loser. And he like disappears and like a bunch of toxic fumes pop up and like they escape. And now Reptile's a good guy. Which, you know, sucks for Shang Tsung, but for us fans, that's great. Because we finally get to see a version of the character whose problem is resolved. Although, not really in the way that he would have preferred it to be resolved, but resolved nonetheless. So, we can get that redemption arc that we wanted from Reptile of him, okay, this whole race situation, or in this case family, is now done and over with, so he can just be a good guy now, because he has no reason to follow the bad guys anymore. And that's just awesome. And it's just another way that this game takes so many of the things we wanted from these characters, from these storylines, spins it on its head, but still delivers on what we wanted and still makes us happy. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but let's put it into perspective with Reptile himself. We've always wanted, as a fan base, or at least most people, have wanted this whole Reptile with his race situation being resolved and him finding a path to redemption and being a good guy. And having that character explored, having that storyline explored, and having him actually be a character instead of just being a servant all the time that pretty much does nothing but just gets bodied every 5 minutes. And this game does sort of deliver on that, but it takes the whole idea of race and this whole species being endangered, compacts it, makes it more personal, which they do with a lot of stuff in this game's at least first 2 acts before it gets kind of crazy in the third, and they compact it, they make it a smaller storyline, a more personal one, and they still deliver on what we wanted by still giving that redemption story to us. And I just think it's one of the things that shines in this game, and it's one of the things that is so great, and I wish it did it with every single character. Like, it does it with a lot of characters, but you guys already know which character I wanted it from. Alright, it's this character right here. Not Noob Saibot, but Bihan in general. Just, come on. Like, I know this is a video about Reptile, and I shouldn't be talking about Bihan, but like, he should get his chance too, alright? I don't know, maybe in Mortal Kombat 2. But the way his ending is in Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't inspire much confidence. There you go, little buddy. But I truly believe that this is the perfect version of Reptile, or at least the most perfect one we've had so far. I don't really think there's any issues with his character, like maybe other than the fact that he doesn't do much after like the first moment with Shang Tsung and in the flesh pits, and then with Ashura, and then his own chapter. Like, it doesn't really do much outside of that, but still, that whole 3 chapters where we get more from Reptile than we ever had from any of the other games. So I think that's a win, at least at this current moment. And if you disagree with me that this version of Reptile is the best version of Reptile, then I dare you to go into the comments right now and say a version of Reptile that is better than this one. I will wait and I will respond to every single one of those comments that try and argue for another Reptile, and I will refute them with facts and logic, and I promise you, you will not be convinced that that version of Reptile is the better version of Reptile after I rebuttal whatever claims you have, whatever stupid, dumb claims you guys have. Because this is definitively the best version of Reptile. Like, I literally think objectively, this is the best version. And if you guys want to try and come at me in the comments, okay, I will respond to that. And I promise you, you will not believe it by the end of whatever day you commented on, whatever day you're watching this video, and you're about to comment down below. I dare you guys. It can be from games, movies, comic books, whatever. You will not find a version of Reptile better than this one. And as for what the character could do going forward, they're probably going to be in the story expansion with, spoiler alert, I guess I should have said that in the beginning of the video, but like whatever. Spoiler alert for Mortal Kombat 1's post-credit scene, but they're probably going to do something with him in the story expansion with the Havoc Titan person. I don't really know what's going on with that really, but Havoc's in it, and hopefully he's actually cool, unlike how he is in the main game. But Reptile will probably be in it. He'll probably have like a few lines or something. I doubt he'll be like a main character or anything, but the main point is that in the next games, in the next game stories, how will Reptile be? What could they do with Reptile's character? And honestly, right now, it really just depends on what they actually do in those game stories, and then I could have an idea of what Reptile could actually do in them. But I just hope they keep improving the character. I hope he gets featured in more than 3 chapters. I hope he gets his story expanded upon, or I guess reintroduce him with a new story, because I mean, the story we've always known Reptile to have has already been resolved with this game, so I don't know. Maybe they could do something with him and Chameleon. Like, Chameleon, we already know, is a character who was in the story mode. She is going to be a DLC cameo character, so maybe they could do something with those two. I don't know. Have them go buddy-buddy in the next game and have their own separate subplot adventure or something. I don't know. Whatever they want to do, I hope they do something cool with Reptile. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Reptile in Mortal Kombat 1. He's great, and you guys let me know how you feel about Mortal Kombat 1 Reptile in the comments, whether you agree or disagree with any of my points. Also, I am planning on having 2 uploads next week. One is the Sindel costume ranking, which I know a lot of people have been asking for, and there's been a lot of requests for costume rankings, and I know it's been a while since the last one, and so I'm trying to get to all of them because I've gotten ones for Sindel, which is the one I'm doing next, Jade, Kenshi, Baraka, a bunch of characters. I've gotten requests for characters I've already done. It's all crazy. Alright, so definitely getting that, and I'm also hoping to squeeze in the Jax adaptation arena with the versions of Jax from Annihilation, Legacy, and 2021. So look out for that. That might come later on next week. I'm hoping to get both of those uploads in, but if not, the Jax upload will come the next week, pretty early on in the week, so that week I'll probably be able to do a double upload, hopefully. But I am pretty busy this week, so yeah, hopefully I get everything this week done so it doesn't spill over to next week, and my schedule will get messed up, but I'm sure that won't happen. I work fairly hard for this. Alright guys, things I do for you. But yeah, just look out for future uploads. They'll come eventually. Also, make sure to check out the links in the description of this video, including my merch store, my Mortal Kombat Retold podcast, my Twitter, and my Instagram. Also, make sure to give this video a like, as it'll get more people to see this video and hopefully watch it and enjoy it so that they can like as well. And then make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And with that being said, that's it for this video, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.